Welcome back, guys and gals, and if you've just watched my previous video on my Vectra, you'll know I managed to get it started. Brilliant. So my next mission is my Mark II Cavalier Convertible, which is nicknamed Brad. Now, I've not done any videos on Brad. I dread to think, I don't even think I have. I'll have to have a look back on the channel and see if I've ever actually done any videos on Brad. He's called Brad because I basically bought him from Bradford. So when I try to come up with a name for him, we thought, well, let's just call him Brad because he came from Bradford. I also, funnily enough, I had an Astra Bertone, the Mark IV Astra G convertible, and that came from Manchester, and that got nicknamed Manny. So it's funny because, you know, a few of my cars over the years have been named, but most of them haven't. I mean, the cars I've got now, I've got Owen, you know, the most famous Mark II Cavalier on my channel, the gold hatchback. But other than Owen, there's only Brad that's got a name. All the other cars have not been named. So maybe I should try and name them, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to have a little play with the Mark II Cavalier Convertible. The first thing I want to try is just to see if the fuel pump is working. It's the most simple, basic thing, but I just want to see if the fuel pump is actually working. Because the problem I've had is every time I've tried to start it, it's just span and 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 showed no signs whatsoever of actually wanting to start. Now, the problem is when I first got the car, it struggled to start, but it would eventually start. So it's never been the most reliable 8-valve that I've ever had. All my other 8-valve Vauxhalls have always been so reliable. They've started up really quickly, really well. You know, Sylvia used to always start straight away. Owen continues to do, touch wood. The Manta, even though the Manta's not been on the road for God knows how many years, I did the startup video on it a few weeks ago, and again, it had not been started up for ages, for months and months and months and months. About a year, 18 months it had not been started, and it started up pretty much straight away, just after a few cranks, you know. But for some reason, my Mark II Cav convertible has never been reliable. It's never wanted to start very well, and I'm really keen to get it done and MOT'd and on the road for this coming summer. So the first part of trying to get it running is just trying to diagnose why it won't start. So I'm going to check the fuel pump, see if the fuel pump works. So that's what I'm going to do first. So keep watching. Right then, guys, so here we are. This is Brad, my Mark II Vauxhall Cavalier Convertible, also known as the Opel Ascona in the rest of Europe. And yeah, you can see why I've not done many videos on this car. In fact, like I said earlier, I don't think I've done any videos on it at all. I've probably mentioned it in passing when I've been talking about my Nova, which is here, my Nova GSi, also known as an Opel Corsa. But yeah, actually doing videos on Brad, I've just not done, have I? So here we are. Now you can see this is one of the big problems I've got. My garage needs a big sort out. I've just got stuff everywhere, and as you can see, the boot of Brad has ended up becoming a bit of a storage area for various things. I've got a spare Mark II Cavalier wing there, an old mountain bike. I've got odd tyres, sets of wheels all over the place. The other thing as well, lighting. I've got these old strip lights which aren't the best. That one and that one tend to come on quite easily, but this one that's over the Nova, as soon as the weather's a bit colder, it just refuses to turn on. So I need to get some kind of new LED lighting. That's what I'm going to try and do, get some LED light bars. Or failing that, I'll just get an LED torch kind of thing, not a torch, a light on a tripod or something, some kind of lighting, so I can do stuff better. But yeah, as you can see, I've got wheels, tyres, there's the old boot carpet. I think that's the boot carpet out of the Vectra. Pretty sure it's the boot carpet out of the Vectra. I've got my old bonnet down there out of Sylvia, off of Sylvia I should say. Another tyre up there. door panels there off the Mark 1 Cavalier. They're actually the Mark 1's original door panels. Random aftermarket exhaust. I think that is to fit a Mark II Cav. I think that's what I bought it for, actually, probably to fit on Brad. Old exhaust there off Sylvia. And then you've got the spare back bumper sat on the bonnet and headlights and all sorts of stuff for the Astra. And then up in the loft area, I've got fiberglass door panels for Cavalier caliber. So I've got 2 spare rear door ones, and then I've got them big long extended ones which are modified caliber door trims for a Cavalier convertible, because I was at one point going to fit a full caliber kit. I've got my rear arch repair panels up there for the Nova, centre console for a Mark II Cav, loads of random bits of decking and all sorts of stuff. There's also a full skirt kit for a Cavalier Saloon Mark II, which are mega rare now and they do actually fetch decent money, but they are actually going to go on Brad when I've sorted Brad. And then there's interior bits up there, the rear seat out of the Mark 1, because it originally had a red interior. It was originally red with a red interior. There's a spare dashboard. There's a spare boot spoiler there, which is supposed to be going on the Mark 1 eventually. There's some Astra GTC window deflectors. Totally random, but there you go. I've got cylinder head off for a C20 NE, 2 litre 8 valve. The old interior seats out of Brad, so they're the same as the Mark II Cavalier SRI mid-spec. So then they're the original seats. It has got a leather interior, which I will show you at some point in the future. That's part of the side skirt trim. Down this end of the garage you can't see, but there's loads of tools and boxes. There's another load of alloys down here in the back. Again, you can't see because this light's not working. Mark II grille, clear indicators. There's loads of Cortina bits in these boxes. In one of them's got loads of Mark 1 Cavalier and Manta bits, including Manta quad headlights, which were going to go on the Mark 1. So yeah, that's a little bit of a rapid fire tour of my garage. And as you can see, this is why I'm struggling to get stuff done on the Nova, mainly because I ain't got much room to manoeuvre. I've got enough room. Spare radiator from Mark II Cavalier down there. Bags with just random stuff. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Brad's currently got a mix and match of different wheels. So he's currently got 17-inch Lenso alloys on the front. It's got one of my other Ronal turbos on the back. And then at the other side, I think it's got a Rover alloy. I'm sure it's got a Rover alloy on the front. Or an MG. Be an MG wheel. It's got an original hot cross bun, as they called there, from a Cavalier SRI. It actually came with a full set of them. And I'm pretty sure this front one is an MG multi-spoke wheel. Bet you're not able to see it on camera. Yeah, MG multi-spoke, like a 10-spoke MG 17-inch. This mirror's broke, as you can see, smashed off. So I've literally got everything in here in this garage. You know they say everything including the kitchen sink? Yep, I have a spare kitchen sink, a brand new one, which was going to go in my kitchen, but I never got around to fitting it. It will do at some point. And then just random paint and white spirits and all the kind of decorating stuff you usually get. Oh, that's part of the interior out of the Mark 1 Cavalier as well. That's the old rear shelf for in the rear screen. The other part of the rear seat, there's actually a bit of boot carpet there, which is actually out of Sylvia. So Sylvia went to the new owner with that bit of boot carpet missing, I've just realised. Oh, they're the side skirts, the interior, what I mean about the exterior side skirts, which are a Cavalier SRI, you know, the late spec SRI skirts. that go down the side and around the back. They're also on the CDI model as well. And the very last late spec convertibles. But yeah, so the plan is I'm going to try and get this running, get it up and running. It always used to start, but it's not started for ages because it just seems to have got a fuel starvation problem. And I don't know if it's the fuel pump not kicking in or if it's the relay not kicking in. I'm not entirely sure. I do need to try and start it with some easy start and see if it will actually start with easy start, because obviously if it starts with easy start, then I know that's not the issue. But yeah, and there's my Nova again, been off at road for, well, I've owned it for 20 years. It's been off at road since October 2005, so it's been off the road for what, 19 years. So I really need to crack on and get some done on that. It's got the very, very popular and also very expensive speed lines. I can't believe people pay £1,000 for them now, Speedline Alessios. Obviously in black. I think they look really good in black against the black of the car. That's why I bought them. They're only on this side of the car though. You notice the side skirt is missing. That's because I was doing the rear arches, or starting to make a start. The skirt is actually up there on the roof of the car. There it is, the skirt. Still fitted on the other side, mind. They're a set of 18-inch Lensos RS5s. Used to have them on my Calibra years ago. Then I had them on me. Well, I actually had them on my Audi 80 first, because they're a multi-fit, and they do actually fit on the Audi 80 and they fit on Vauxhalls. So yeah, I had them on my Audi 80. I'm sure it's like a 105 PCD, the same as Ford, I think. Can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, so I had them on my Audi 80, then I had them on my Calibra. And I'm actually thinking of trying the 18s on Brad. So that's one of the things I'm thinking of doing. They are actually the 18-inch version of the front wheels. It's either the deep dished 5 spokes. See one down in the distance there as well at the back of the Nova. Probably just see the light glinting off it. So they are the 18-inch version. Oops, tripping over a bag of crap. They are the 18-inch version of the wheel that's currently on the front. So that's the 17-inch version of the same tyre. So yeah, I've got edge trimmers and all sorts of stuff in here. Empty boxes from bits. So yeah, there we go guys. So that's a very quick little look around my garage, and you can see what I'm working with, and you can see why I'm struggling. I'm tripping up over stuff as I'm doing this video. I've got bags of crap everywhere. I mean, if I can clear some of this stuff away and just better organise it, better, you know, tidy it up, make better use of the space. I mean, there's quite a lot of storage space up in the top of the loft which isn't being utilised to its best. Then I should be able to make myself some space to be able to swing a cat, because at the moment there's not much room to do out in here. Alright then guys, so here we are in the garage under Brad, and I just want to show you sets of lowering springs and all sorts of stuff under here. But what we're under here for is the fuel pump, which is there. So all I'm going to do is just try and hotwire it, put wires to it, and just see if it will fire into life. It's actually really, really nice and solid under this car. It has had some welding in the past over the other side on the rear chassis rail. The chassis rail on this side's really good. The rear pockets and things are really good. And this back arch is really, really good. I'm just falling over. One thing I do know that does need welding, there is that little bit of a hole there near the shock mount. Same area that it went on Owen, when I had to do welding on Owen. Same at the other side as well. Now, one thing you'll possibly notice is the lack of the fuel filler pipe. So there's the pipe that runs from the fuel filler neck up here, which then runs down into the fuel tank. I can't open this door now to show you. I need something to pry it open. But basically that pipe, I borrowed it off this for Sylvia ages ago, and that's another one of the problems when I come to try and start this. I can't currently get fresh fuel into the tank because I've got no fuel filler neck. So that's another thing I need to sort. So once I get that fuel filler neck on, then obviously I can get some more fuel in the tank, and that's going to put me in a better chance of being able to get it started. But I showed you in my video when I walked around the garage, just showing all the stuff that's all over the car at the moment. One thing I forgot to show you was up here. I've actually got the rear panel from Cavalier just sat up on the roof. The foam from an old back seat. I'll tell you what that's from at a later date. It's quite an interesting little thing that is from, and it's not something that you're probably going to guess. If you had to guess what car that rear foam is from, I think it's pretty unlikely that you're going to get the answer right. That's all I'm going to say. But it all will become clear at a later date. So yeah, so I've just got the Nova's there again. Hello, Nova. So I've just got a battery, and I'm going to just use the positive and negative wires wired up to that, and I'm just going to see if the petrol pump actually works. So I'll let you know how we get on. Right then, guys, so I've got the battery connected up, ready. One of the prongs is already on the pump, and then the other one I just hotwire it, and sure enough the fuel pump works. There you go. So that's one thing I wanted to investigate, see if the pump works, and I've just proven that it does. So there we go. So that's a good start. So so on with checking other things. So there we go, guys. That's as far as I've got so far with Brad. This is well, I'm just doing this video a couple of weeks later. I did start making, well, some progress, as you've seen on the video. I got the fuel pump working. One thing I need to do now is I need to get the fuel filler neck sorted so that I'm able to put some nice new fresh fuel in the car. One thing I want to do is also just try and start it with some easy start, but I'm probably going to need somebody to come and help me to actually spray some in while I turn the ignition, and just see if it'll fire with some easy start sprayed in, or even some WD-40. Anybody's got any suggestions? I know you don't have to just use easy start. I've seen people spray all sorts in just to try and see if it'll start, because I'm not sure if the issue is actually fuel related. Checking the fuel pump was the first point of call, but it might be ignition, or it could be sticky injectors. It could be all sorts, you know. I mean, the good thing is the old 1.8 fuel injection engine, same as the other 8 valves, the 1.6s and the 2 litres. They're a very simple, very basic engine. It's Bosch Jetronic or Bosch Motronic, depending which it is. It's a very simple fuel injection system. There is an engine coolant temperature sensor, and that's about it. You know, there's not a lot to them. Unlike the engine, the XE red top that's in my Mark 1, that's more complicated because that's got a lambda sensor and a crank sensor, a MAF sensor. You know, there's a little bit more to them. The older engines have just got like a basic airflow meter, the coolant temp sensor. That's about it, really. You know, they're very simple engines, so I should be able to get to the bottom of it. One thing I am going to check as well is the compression on the engine to make sure I've got compression. I'm not exactly sure of the mileage. I think it's done about 145,000 miles, something like that. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Stick around for the next video, because while I was in the garage, I decided I wanted to do a little bit of a cold start on the Nova. So that's coming next. So thanks a lot for... Can't speak. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Laters.